Hey guys, and welcome to All the Mods 9 Progression Log 17, if you can believe it. This is the 18th week, though. Man, we're really getting along in there. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start off with the playtime now. I haven't played as much this week either. Busy week, as per usual, unfortunately. It is what it is. But we're up to 20.67 days, which is, I want to say 490 hours? Something like that? Anyway, um, we'll go ahead and get a move on. I do have some stuff to show you, but at this point, I'm gonna give up attempting to estimate how long this video is gonna be. It'll either be 15 minutes or an hour. I've already done that. Oh yeah, we do have some UV circuits, so I guess we'll go ahead and start off with that. Um, we have UV circuits on passive. This is what I've been setting up for the assembly line area. This district is actually called the assembly yard. I was originally setting this area up assuming we'd have a ton of things on passive through the assembly line, and the other day I was actually looking through it, and the answer is actually not that many things need to go on passive for the assembly line. Like, for example, if I go ahead and pull it up and just show you guys, we can just like quickly run through all the recipes. Like, most of these things don't have to be on passive. Like, pistons could be nice, but we don't actually use too many of those anyway. Um, Field generators, we don't need any of those things on passive. We'd be doing micro universe drill ships on passive if we were actually. This is for the end game multi block that requires the Greg Star to build. It requires the multi universe projector thing or whatever. So this doesn't really matter to us. Computers, sensors and stuff. Uh, you know, Other like cover things like robot arms, things like that. Uh, all this stuff doesn't really need to go on passive. Like we don't need enough of this stuff. Like here's one, right? The crystal processor mainframe. That's just what we did. We just have on passive now. Um, there's also a few other circuits like this one will go on passive once I have wetware stuff. But this just replaces the UV circuit we have now. Uh, and then we have the wetware processor mainframe. So that'll be like two things. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna have like two things on passive. Maybe yeah. Well, two things on passive because we'll replace this with the wetware processor assembly thing, and then we'll have this one for the UHV circuit with the wetware processor mainframe, and that'd pretty much be it in terms of things that go on passive. Because like the pistons and the pumps and the motors, though we do use enough of those things where it might be worth like batch crafting them and like sets of like 10 or something. But at high with like at high voltage tiers, they don't actually take that long to make. Like let's say ZPM piston, for example. This takes we're running at UV, so it's 7.5 seconds for that, and then this one is another 7.5 seconds. So it's like 15 seconds, right? So it's not like super fast, but it's also not like super slow, and we don't need, hundreds of those things. For the things that I need a piston for, I'm willing to wait like a minute, or two or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So I was assuming we'd have a ton of these assembly lines on passive, right? That's how I was building up this district is going to be. Because the idea was going to be is you can't split off optical cables. They're only point to point. So this is a database in here with three of these advanced data hatches, and we have it right here. And we have, so this database plugs in two of these assembly lines, right? But one thing you can do is you can actually chain databases together. So underneath the platform, I actually have this database connected to this one over here. That's transmitting to this one receiving because that one has all the research things in it. And this one is basically just a fancy network switch because I don't think you can use network switches to split off optical cables. Or at least if you can, I don't know about that. I don't think they do. I actually haven't checked, but they did require UHV circuits, UV circuits to make. Uh, yeah, see, this is for computational data stuff, so not for optical. So if you want to like split off, like what we're doing over there, you have to use databases as an interim junction. So we have one database, it plugs into those two, comes underneath, goes into this one, and this one will plug into this one, and then that one, and then we'll just repeat this for over here as well. and I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest of them. I might just continually just chain all around. I don't know if I'm gonna need that many assembly lines though, right? Because we have 3 right now that are hooked up for on demand, and most of the time they're not running. I really wish there were some more things to do with the assembly line. I think it's a really cool multi-block. It's a little bit annoying to set up, but once you have it set up, it's actually really cool to use. And you just don't really use it that often. Like, obviously it gets used in a ton of recipes at this stage, right? But it's not always running. It's only ever used in on demand and in 2 passive recipes at this point. 3 if you felt like keeping the old UV circuits around for some reason, you know? So I don't really know about how many assembly lines I'm gonna build over here. I'm definitely gonna build at least this side, so we'll have at least 6 over here, and that might be enough. I'll probably reserve this one, the center 2, for the passive systems, and the other ones will be on demand. Um, I don't really have to do any significant rebuilds for that, even though I was expecting all of these to be on passives, just because the way I already have AE coming up from underneath, so. Yeah, I brought a AE in from underneath now. Um, I ran this cable down underneath because this is how I can show you actually how I set this up. Uh, it's just like how I set up the on-demand section over here. We just have the cable coming from underneath, all the input buses and the output bus over there. One thing you'll notice actually is these things are they're flip-flopped because the assembly line multi-block has to be on this side of the multi-block. Like, I couldn't put that assembly line right here on this block so I could put the optical reception hatch here because I didn't want to bring it up and over, right? So I could plug it over here. I wanted to just be straight across, so I had to put them back, I had to flip them around like that. Anyway, that's pretty much it. What do you guys think of the style, though? I kind of like it. I kind of like using the plascrete over here. I've been using it more as a building block in this area because it feels a little bit more laboratory-y, I guess. Very sci-fi stuff. So I've been liking it. I had to use concrete for this drawer here because I tried to use plascrete in it and it doesn't work. It just gives you the missing texture. So that's unfortunate. But concrete looks pretty good. Alright, that's pretty much it for over here. I still only have one of these high computational, the HPCA arrays, working for the research lab. I haven't gotten around to building up the network switch yet. Because theoretically I assume we'd need it, but everything I've been tossing in there has worked just as well off the first one. So, I mean, I'll throw a second one in there just so it's a little bit quicker. And I already built it, so I kind of want to use it, right? But that's pretty much it for over here. But UV circuits is nice. I'm happy we got there. Open up some cool things for us. In terms over here, I'm starting to work on the Mark II fusion reactor, but holy crap, let me tell you, this is expensive. Here's the cost of 25 fusion casings. It's a lot. It's mostly the cost is in the crystal processor assemblies. It takes 130 LUV circuits for 25 fusion frames, and you need like around 100 frames for this, a little bit over. I think it's like closer to like 120 or something. That's like that's a lot. That's a lot of UV circuits, which is greater than the buffer we have in the clean room is. So actually, what I've been doing is I've just been pulling them out of the AE system, and then letting it pull out of the so it can fill up the buffer a little bit more. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and just start crafting those fusion frames. It takes forever for them, dude. It feels so bad having to. It feels both really good and really bad being able to do this because I look at this and go, oh my god, it's just so much stuff. It's so expensive, and it takes like an hour too. Anyway, so I'm building Mark II Fusion because we do need some more fusion products coming up. We need like Duranium or something like that. I haven't really been paying attention to what it is exactly. Yeah, I think it's Duranium. Or maybe it's Tritanium. Oh, we use Duranium to make Tritanium. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna need a bunch of these fusion reactors. We're gonna need, I imagine, at least a couple more. I might sit on Fusion Mark II reactors for a while, rather than just rushing to Mark III reactor. because fusion, I don't even know what fusion Mark 3 costs. I assume it's like stupidly expensive. Ah, UHV. So yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh boy, data models. What is this? Oh, okay, fantastic. Sterile clean room. Yeah, we have to do a new tier of clean room too. I'll go ahead and show you. I actually added a new clean room. Anyway, so yep, we do have a a new fusion on the go. It's gonna take a while to get there. Um, I'll probably build a couple of these Fusion Mark IIs. It wasn't too much of a okay. It was pretty much of a push to get to Fusion Mark II, but we didn't really need too many other Fusion products until I got there. But now we're going to be delving pretty heavily into Fusion in general for GregTech, so I'm going to probably build 2 or 3 of these Mark IIs at least, I imagine. I plan to replace this one eventually, but it works for now, and it's expensive to make the Mark IIs, so it'll get there when it gets there. It might just stay as Mark I forever, but we'll find out. Um, Magic has been, I haven't been building it, so I don't know anything how any of this works. But I do know Cosmic Eclipse got them into the jars and then farms them with stuff, with Drigmees, I guess, or something. I don't know. It made it so she didn't have to kill 80 mobs half heart at a time. We're also working on some bees over here because apparently we need bees. Uh, we're looking for a nomad bee apparently. For something. It's for bee breeding. I don't know anything about it. I haven't been doing it. She's taken it upon herself to do that, and I'm very glad because I don't want to do bees, but I will if I have to. Over here, I did add just a second clean room. This is just for ZPM stuff because I needed a ZPM assembler, but I didn't feel like tearing everything out over here. Eventually, I do need to actually upgrade all of these things to ZPM, so I might go ahead and start tearing them out. But I don't know when I want to do that because I do have UV circuits, so we can make UV circuit assemblers now, right? So we can upgrade this area to ZPM, but it feels like I just tore it all out and upgraded it to LUV like a week ago. You know, it was probably closer to a month and a half ago at this point. But time flies when you're having fun, right? But oh man, crystal processors, these things are so slow. I might need to do a multi-block autoclave so it's faster. And, you know, converting this to ZPM actually would be pretty nice. It would be, cut it down to like what? 35 seconds or something? Yeah, 37 and a half. So that'd be nice, but, and a lot of these recipes are pretty slow. Also, if we get to ZPM, we can make a, look, we can make the quantum processors cheaper. We won't need any of like the wafers though. You'll just use the ASOCs. Anyway, that's something that I kind of want to do, but I don't know when I'm gonna do. I can't wait to get ZPM field emitters so I can replace all these things with the better ones. Anyway, let's see. What else do I have? Just some small stuff. Like I made a dedicated ender tank for salt, or for oil, I should say. I fixed steam problems, and we had no oil. I burned through all of our stockpile, and the one pump we had basically gone dry. They don't actually ever go completely dry. They'll produce a little bit, but it won't be as much, like a tenth of what it used to be. So I over here I just added a bunch of fluid heaters, LUV fluid heaters. I was gonna do a multi-block one and like pull this one out because I only had one on HV, and then I went, well, this is an LUV line over here, so fuck it. I'll just throw down a bunch of these elite fluid heater 2s, and it'll be good. And it's fine. It works. Now the bottleneck is not cracking it, but using the distillation towers. I need to upgrade these things. We can actually get the better parallel hatch now. I think we can get the ultimates. The ultimate parallel control hatch. Yeah, we can get these now because I think we can actually have. I think we have the ZPM and the sensors, or I have the research for them. I haven't set up the on-demand recipes for them yet. So we could theoretically do these things, but I haven't really been using the parallel hatches that much right now. Most of the things I've been setting up don't use them. So maybe it'd be helpful if, you know, I take that back. It would absolutely be helpful. But I don't know if I really want to do that right now. Because as much as, you know, Petrochem is backing up, right? We've got tons of naphtha. We've got fuel. Like, look at all this stuff. We got 1 million sulfuric heavy fuel. We're just, you know, not processing it anywhere near as fast as we're getting it. But also it doesn't really matter. Like we're good on like benzene. We're good. Like how's phenol? Phenol's good. Like what else do we get from like methane? Yeah, like we're like ethylene. Like we're good. We're chilling. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it works. It works pretty well too. It works for more than we need. So I don't really see the point in putting the time there to make it even more than what we need. If you guys kind of get me, like Greg Tech bases are a lot of like time management, like figuring out where your time is best spent. Like I could, if I spent a couple hours on Petrochem over here, it would be a lot better. But I have a bunch of other things I need to do that are more pressing, that actually need to get done. Either things that don't work or things that need to get built. And this works and doesn't. It works. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a why fix it? It's not broken. You know what I mean? Oh, distilled water to UV. Actually, it's funny. Is the first UV machine? I think I did. I did this last week actually. I just forgot to check it off. The fractioning distillery for distilled water for ore processing was actually our first UV machine. This was the first thing I overclocked to UV. Because I had run out of it for ore processing, and ore processing had backed up. So, more oil, more steam. I did some minor battery upgrades actually last night. Nothing particularly fantastic, but I didn't have much else. I did want to mention it because I forgot. I didn't want to forget. I actually threw in 2 more ultimate energy providers. It's the first time I've ever actually was like concerned about hitting the cap. But hitting the cap, right? Which is 52 point something mega RF per tick. And every other time I've built one of these things, I just throw one in there and I'm done. I don't care anymore. I'm never going to hit that. And now right now, we're actually probably spiking a little bit over our production. So on average, we're still going up, because last night it was like 39.8 trillion. So we are still going up, but it's probably a pretty tight margin at this point. Antimatter is actually, we probably have enough antimatter, I think. I'm pretty sure we're probably good. Let's see, the Starforge, we have 32. This doesn't need any antimatter. We need 10 stars. So how much antimatter is this gonna need? I assume Nexium emitter. Okay, this is actually gonna need a lot more. So we'll keep it going then. The thing is though, the fission reactor, even if you count how much I have to dump into this thing for it to consume all the plutonium for antimatter, we still produce like 2 million extra RF. So this thing does produce a little bit of extra stuff. So it's fine. It's like it consumes 12 million and produces like just over 12, just under 13. So it's fine to keep running, but if we do turn it off, it won't massively affect the overall power of the base. As in, if we turn it off, like I won't have to massively upgrade power infrastructure. It's sort of more or less power neutral at this point to keep the antimatter going, which is fine. So I've had to bump the burn rate up every now and then. Versus we're up to 40 now from 28 when I first showed this / set it up. Like I said, UV machines are no joke in terms of power consumption. Like for instance, let's see. Oh, actually, we'll go ahead and we'll go neckline since I made some small upgrades over here. I turned a couple of these things to ZPM or to UV, and a ZPM energy hatch takes more power than a flux point can by default. So you have to throw bypass limit on up there, or it just won't work. It'll flicker. It won't get enough power from the flux point. So just keep that in mind. If you're using ZPM energy hatches, you have to turn on power bypass limit, or because they want to draw more RF than the 800,000. They want to draw 1 million each. So yeah, UV machines are no joke, guys. They are power hungry, let me tell you. I have never built a base that's this power hungry, and we're not even done. We don't even have any UHV machines, because I'm sure we're going to need at least 1 or 2 of those things. Like the Starforge, right? Like this is probably... Oh, we can run this at UHV. Oh my god. That would be 1.6 million RF. Oh man. Anyway, um, is there anything else? No, that's pretty much it. That's all I've got. I wasn't playing as much this week again. I've been enjoying a lot of Helldivers and stuff, and I've had a busy week, and it'll continue to be a busy week. Uh, just as I had a career fair actually on Thursday, and that was interesting. I've talked about this before that this is my last semester here at college, so I'm kind of like looking into, or I need to be looking more into jobs and stuff. So I was at the career fair and things. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's a little bit stressful looking for jobs. But it is what it is, right? I'll get there in the end. I'm not too concerned about it at the moment because I still have, a full semester. It's something that I do need to start looking into sooner rather than later. But I also can't let myself get overwhelmed by a task that has to be completed in the future compared to a task that has to be completed now. Like I still gotta actually graduate. I still gotta go hard on the. I want to finish strong. You know what I mean? I gotta move the miners too. They ran out last night. Um, our resource stockpile is pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. Where we effectively have unlimited resources, I think, at this point, of virtually anything that matters. The one exception to that rule is tungsten. Uh, where is all our tungsten? There it is. So we still have, we're kind of low on tungsten, as we always are, unfortunately. Tungsten carbide ingots. What are you doing in here? Anyway, I'll fix that later. So I have to keep the miners rolling specifically for tungsten, and I don't really feel like searching enough, like, going around and taking time to search them, where I just kind of just move them forward. I guess I can actually kind of show you what I've been doing. Oh, it's done. It didn't take quite an hour. It took like, what, 15 minutes? I don't know how long it's been. This is where the current miner field is right here, and I've just been kind of like just dragging it forward, or dragging it to the left. You can see how far we've gone actually. This is like the spawn area, and I've just been kind of keep it rolling and stuff. It's been. Oh, somebody else set a quarry up over there. Yeah, so I've just been kind of keeping these things rolling. They eat a punch of power, but man, we don't really care at this point. It's worth the cost compared to how much stuff they produce. It's a LUV, so it's like what, $256,000 per tick or something like that. That's not too bad at all. Sorry guys, by the way, this is gonna be a couple hours late. I slept 12 hours last night. It was like a week of 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours into sleep a night or something, and then I went to bed last night and just slept through all of my alarms. I try and set alarms just so I don't sleep for 14 hours over the weekend, but I must have rolled over in my sleep and turned them off. So sorry about that, guys, but it was all right. I'm glad to finally get enough sleep, instead of just living off caffeine as the college student diet. You know what I mean? Caffeine and junk food. All right. Well, I don't want to keep rambling on about nothing at this point. So I hope you guys have had a good week. Mine's been okay. It's actually been pretty good. I won't lie. I hope you guys have a good next upcoming week, and I will see you all again next week.